There was once a man, a simple man. His name was Majoud, and he lived in a small town. He had recently obtained a job, a government job with high prospects. And the small town that it was, the people were very happy for Majoud. Now, right next to Majoud's workplace was a large, abandoned, wild, wooded area, and a river ran quietly through it. Not many ventured into this place for fear of snakes and other creatures. But Majoud, this was his favorite haunt, and he often walked in the woods. One day, while he was taking a quiet walk in his favorite haunt, the trees around him began to glimmer and glow. It was green, but a different green. And there, in front of him, he saw an angel. A vision of shimmering green. He recognized this was Khidir, the angel of the Sufis. And Khidir looked at him and said, "You, man of great prospects, leave your job and come and meet me in 3 days at the riverside." And with that, Khidir vanished. Majoud went back to his supervisor and said, "I have to leave. I can't tell you why. I just have to leave now." When the people heard that Majoud had left his job, they said, "Oh, poor Majoud. He must have lost his mind, because who else in their right mind would give up such a good job?" Anyway, the position was filled soon enough. And in 3 days' time, Majoud came to the forest, the woods, which was again shimmering with this green fluorescent light. And he said, "Main Majoud hu," which he meant, "I am Majoud." But there is a little pun there. I don't know whether Khidir heard it or not, because it also could mean "I am present," because Majoud means present. But I think Khidir heard it because he said, "Majoud gi Mubarak ho." He said, "I appreciate your presence." Anyway, with this little exchange done, Khidir was back to business. He said, "Listen, now you're here. Take off your clothes and jump into the river. Trust the river and go where it takes you." And Majoud did just that. He took off his clothes and he jumped into the river. And he floated along for a long time. A fisherman with his boat saw this strange man, floating along and moving towards the rapids. He quickly picked him up and hauled him into his boat and said, "What is wrong with you? What are you doing?" And Majoud very truthfully said, I really don't know." The fisherman took pity on him, and he took Majoud to his little hut, gave him some warm food, fish curry, a nice bed to sleep in, some clothes, some dry clothes. And Majoud stayed on with the fisherman for a number of months. He helped the fisherman with his work, and the fisherman prospered. And Majoud learned a lot about fishing, but nothing else. Now, one day, after a good day's work, Majoud was lying down when suddenly near his cot, he could see this glimmer of green growing till it enveloped his whole room, and he knew who was there. And the angel said, "Leave the fisherman's hut and walk till you reach the highway, and there you will be guided." Majoud got up, said his goodbyes, and started walking towards the highway the very night. He walked through the night, and at dawn, he reached the highway. And when he reached there, he saw a farmer going to the market with his donkey. And he fell in step, and they started talking. And the farmer said, Are you looking for a job? Because I need an extra pair of hands in my farm. Majoud was ready, and he said, Yes, I'll come to your farm. And he worked with the farmer for 2 years or more. In this time, the farmer prospered, and Majoud learned a lot about farming, but little else. And again, one day, while he was tending to the crops shimmered with that all too well known color. And Majoud knew it was time for change again. And the angel appeared and said, Leave the farm and go to far away Mosul and work as a skin merchant. And of course, Majoud did just that. He went to Mosul, set up his shop, and for 5 long years he worked as a skin merchant, and not once did Khidir show his face. 5 years is a long time, and Majoud had become very rich. This business paid well, and he was wondering what to do. And people told him maybe it's time to buy a house, get married, have children. That's what people. And he was mulling over the idea, and who should appear? A man in shimmering green, and he said, Leave all this and go to far away Samarkand. And there on the outskirts of the city, you'll see a grocer, a poor grocer. Help him. Be his assistant. Again, Majoud left his prospering business and went off to Samarkand. There, for many years, he worked as an assistant to this poor grocer. After some time, a strange thing happened. Majoud, this humble assistant, started showing definite signs of illumination. He could heal the sick, and his knowledge of the esoteric world was deep, and he guided many with his wisdom. His fame spread far and wide. And now people, wise men, clerics, philosophers, they came to him and said, Tell us, whom did you study with? Who initiated you into the mysteries of the universe? And poor Khidir, he was a simple man. He said, It's very difficult to say. I really don't know. It happened. And they pestered him for a while, but then when there was nothing forthcoming, they went away dissatisfied, disappointed, because they were sure that he was hiding something. It couldn't be otherwise. Then some biographers came. They wanted to write his life story, the story of his journey to such wisdom. And so they said, Tell us all. Where have you been? What have you been doing? And Majoud said, I've been telling everybody, and I'll tell you again. I started off as a government official with high prospects. One day I floated down the river, and I became a fisherman. After that, I was a farmer. Then I was a skin merchant in Mosul. And now I'm here working with the grocer, as you can see. This is what I have been doing. This is where I have been. And that's it. The biographer said, That can't be all. There has to be more. This does not explain how you, a simple man, could become so wise and a healer. And Majoud said, That's true. It doesn't actually. And he went back to his work. But now the biographers were in a quandary. What were they going to write with this lackluster life? How were they going to sell it? How were they going to explain this life? And so they thought about it and looked into the holy books and found this interesting character, this angel called Khidir, with his green, shimmering robes, and introduced him into the life of the simple man and made an interesting story, which is the story which I just told you. But every once in a while, the real story and the whole story is told among seekers of the truth. And each time, irrespective of which century one is in, it evokes the same set of questions, at least these questions. If the biographer's story is not true, then what was Majoud's real story? And if the magical transformative power does not lie with a shimmering green angel, then where does it really lie?